Corn is like a drug, and giving it up isn't just a simple choice. It's literally a battle for your soul and mind. In this video, I'm going to share what no one warned me about when I tried to quit and why quitting corn is harder than you think. I've helped thousands of men quit corn successfully. Some of them were in the nastiest, ugliest addictions I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to share a couple of their stories with you today, but this video starts with my story. My addiction to corn started when I was just 11 years old in the computer lab of my school. My buddy asked me to check out this innocent sounding website that unfortunately turned out to be corn. I wound up watching corn regularly for the next 15 years of my life. I would be out with my friends or studying or going to church, and in the back of my head, I would be planning when I was going to watch next. For most of these 15 years, I couldn't go a single freaking day without watching corn. And like any good addict, I told myself I can quit when I want to. I just wasn't ready yet. But eventually, corn started to take a nasty toll on several areas of my life. In my relationships, I started to experience major connection issues. When I got into my 20s, I started dating more seriously. And I heard the same thing in every single relationship, whether it was dating or even just a friendship. I feel like I barely know you. I didn't realize this at the time, but it turns out that watching pornography actually reduces emotional capacity and empathy in men. I was literally losing my ability to connect with other people. Many of my clients over the years have been married men who eventually got tired of watching corn on a screen and decided to either have an affair or pay for sex. This is the kind of damage that corn does to your brain. And there's studies to back this up showing that those who view corn are way more likely to cheat and have affairs. Corn also increases the risk of divorce. Many of my clients have had multiple marriages, 2, 3, even 4 marriages because they lost several of them to their corn addiction. One study reported that up to 60% of all marriages end because of their partner's corn use. My spiritual life also took a hit. Addiction in general is a very shameful experience. Stigma, insecurity, and a fear of judgment can often leave people with addiction feeling like they're the only one in the world struggling. And that was the case for me. I had so much shame over my addiction that I kept it a secret for years, living in denial. Even though I knew I should talk to someone about it, I had this master plan in my head that I was going to figure it out on my own and then tell the world about this great triumph I had and how I conquered my addiction. And as you can tell, that plan didn't work out very well. The shame of porn addiction can keep you disconnected from your purpose in life, as you often feel unworthy of your dreams and goals. If faith is a part of your life like it was for me, the shame of this addiction can keep you disconnected from God in a really notable way. Porn viewership also has a huge impact on your mental health. I work with a lot of high performers like business owners, executives, doctors, and athletes, and many of them report mental illnesses like depression, anxiety, and many others. I find that high performers put a lot of pressure on themselves to reach their standards and exceed expectations, and this pressure can often lead to these mental illnesses. And the way that they cope with these mental illnesses is through corn. And sometimes it's the other way around. They develop this dependency on corn through all the pressure and stress at work, and that addiction to corn eventually leads to depression and anxiety and everything else. There are tons of studies to back this up, showing that those who view corn are also more likely to struggle with depression and anxiety and other mental illnesses. I've even worked with an addiction physician. So this man went to medical school and specialized to help those who have addictions of their own. And unfortunately, he fell into an addiction to corn himself. And I can tell you firsthand that this gentleman's mental health was severely affected by his addiction to corn. Every single time he watched, his self-esteem would crumble, he'd feel more depressed, and he would lose motivation at work. And really quick, we should touch on the physical effects of viewing corn. A lot of people think that because corn is a digital experience, it doesn't have any physical side effects, but nothing could be further from the truth. I have tons of clients who have experienced a whole range of physical side effects from viewing corn, including erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, delayed ejaculation, physical shakes, brain fog, and memory loss. In my own experience, corn hindered my ability to focus. I became more distracted and a sucker for notifications, social media, tech, basically anything that would keep my brain sidetracked. As you can see, corn had a huge impact on my life. But my story doesn't end there. Eventually, the day came where I was ready to quit corn. At this point in my life, I was academically successful. I was 20 years old and had my honors degree. I had skipped a grade, and I had over 5 figures in research grants to fund my entire education. Now that I was ready to start my career and be taken a little bit more seriously in life, I decided it was a good time to quit corn. I figured I would quit corn the same way that I had quit every single bad habit I ever had, with self-control and a lot of willpower. That lasted about 3 days. So I doubled down. More willpower, more self-control, same result. Immediately, I felt the shame go a layer deeper. I had heard all these stories of other people that had successfully quit. So if they quit and I couldn't, then something must be wrong with me. I started to look a little bit deeper for a solution, and one place said to install an internet filter, so I did. Another place said to get an accountability partner, so I did that too. I read a blog that suggested praying more, so I prayed more. And after 3 years of earnest and sincere recovery efforts, I had made very little progress. I was relapsing every 1 to 3 weeks, often binging hard when I failed. Eventually, I learned something about recovery, something that really shocked me. A lot of people treat addiction like it's a set of bad behaviors, in this case, viewing corn. So we try to change the behavior like it's a bad habit, like biting your nails. And what I found in my experience is that this actually does work for a little bit. You know, maybe you can go 60 days or 90 days, but eventually you slip. That's because corn addiction is really more like a weed. You know, if you try habit hacks and self-control and quick fixes, it's really no different than running over a weed with a lawnmower. Temporarily, everything's good and clean, but as long as the root system is there, that weed is gonna grow back. When I realized this, I devoted the next 18 months of my life to getting to the roots. And I'm proud to say that in February 2016, I had my last relapse. I haven't viewed any corn since, not even once. And initially, I kind of thought I just got lucky, you know, that God had mercy on me or something like that. But as I started to look a little bit more deeper at my story, I started to recognize some patterns. I turned these patterns into a system that I call Deep Clean, and it's helped thousands of guys get to the roots of their corn addiction. If you want to get to the roots of your addiction too, here's the Deep Clean system, but make sure you follow these steps in order. It's very important. The first step is build self-awareness. The second step is to heal the heart. And the third step is to shift your identity. The reason that so many people struggle to quit corn is because they don't have a solution that's actually getting to the roots. They're literally scratching the surface, wondering why they keep struggling with the same problem over and over again. If you're ready to have your last relapse, I want you to know one thing. You can do it. At this point in my life, I have seen way too many people recover successfully to believe otherwise. I know that if you put in the work and get to the roots, your life can change too. If you found this advice helpful, imagine what you could achieve after 9 years of dedication to the nofap journey. But the truth is, the battle doesn't stop here. For deeper insights on how to get to the roots of your addiction and to truly transform your life, click the video on the screen to learn how to experience lasting freedom.